Welcome back to AutoTechNick, and well, this week guys, we're changing things up. No Ferrari work out in the shop this week, but tomorrow morning we're heading to the airport. We're going to jump on a plane. We're heading down to Austin, Texas, and we're going to be doing a collaboration with Normal Guy Supercar. All right, so here's the deal, guys. I've actually been talking to Dan, or Normal Guy Supercar, for probably close to 7 or 8 months, trying to work out the details of doing a collaboration with him. Really, it got into an issue of schedules. A lot of the times when he was ready for me, I had cars in the shop that I couldn't abandon and go down there to do a video with him for. And then once I actually had free time in my shop, he didn't have anything that neither of us deemed interesting enough to make a video on. So the stars finally aligned. I already had a trip planned to go to Austin, Texas. He had the perfect car for us to work on, to make some content with. And well, we're making it happen, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. Today's video is going to be quite a bit different than what we usually do here on the channel. Typically, we're doing a big, deep, technical, hands-on project, and I'm really spending a lot of time to explain what we're doing and really just do my best to share all the knowledge I have with that relevant subject. And well, I've kind of decided to change things up for today's video, and there's really several reasons behind that. Really, the main reason behind that is I don't think that I'm going to be able to get down there and help Dan out with what we have planned and film a technical video. I have limited time, and he's also going to be filming as well, and I need to be focusing on the project car that we have planned, not filming a video. It takes, believe it guys, it takes a lot of time to stop and film and talk to the camera, and it really slows down what we're doing. And I only have so much time in the shop to help him out, so I want to be sure that first and foremost, I'm getting him taken care of and getting that car fixed. Also, Dan is going to be filming himself, and really I'm going to be showing them and teaching them how to do certain things on the car that they are not that familiar with, and I want to be able to focus all my energy and time into getting the car taken care of correctly, but getting that communicated and shown to them so that way they know how to do it. And well, Dan's going to be recording all that as well, so it's just going to be much easier for him to record that. He will have all of that deep technical footage to have up on his channel. And for my channel, I just kind of decided that I'm going to bring you guys along for the journey with a kind of vlog type video, I guess. Really just trying to share my experience with you guys from my perspective. I think that's interesting enough because I've never met Dan. I've never done a collaboration video, so I do not know what to expect. I go down to Austin every year, so I'm pretty familiar with the area. But there's going to be a lot of new experiences. I'm going to meet a lot of new people, and this whole thing is going to be radically new for me. And I figure, why not bring you guys along for the first collaboration and really do my best to try to let you experience it through my eyes and my experience. So I need to finish grabbing my tools and equipment. I need to finish packing up because I have not even packed for the trip yet. And well, we're going to be pushing off early tomorrow morning, heading to the airport and getting ourselves down to Austin. guys, we made it to Austin. Flight super uneventful, and fortunately, since we're so early from the F1 weekend, the flight wasn't even full, so I had the whole row to myself, which is great. Didn't make it through to security scot-free, which is no surprise. Anytime I bring any tools through a flight, like when I'm flying out for a pre-purchase inspection, it never fails. Every single time I get a bag check. This time, lo and behold, bag check. And it turned out to be my flywheel lock, just a big chunk of metal. Made it through security, we're there, we got our rental car, and the flight from Seattle to Austin burns quite a bit of time. It's about a 4-hour flight, not to mention the time change. So I'm now trying to head up the Dan shop, and hopefully I'll catch them before they end their day. So that way we can just kind of chat and, you know, get to know each other and meet each other. That really only leaves us with tomorrow in the shop before I have to kind of break away from helping him and doing our collaboration video, where I'm going to be spending the time with my buddies for the F1 weekend. So we kind of make a weekend out of it for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure how much filming I'm going to do with them, because I know none of them really want to be on camera, and I kind of want to keep that separate with this rest of the trip. But we're going to have a pretty good time. So the goal is tomorrow we're going to get to the shop. We're going to do some work, or kind of diagnosis and preliminary inspections of his car. And then really after the F1 weekend next week, I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, full days dedicated to helping Dan out with the car in the shop and making content for you guys. So I'm going to focus on driving on up there and bring you guys back in a couple minutes. So you guys won't believe this. Back home, we're struggling with an airbag light on a 456, and I get in the rental car, kind of get settled, look at the dash. You'll never believe what I'm looking at. Yep, an airbag light. It's like that 456 knew, it just wanted to follow me to Texas and haunt me with that light. Absolutely classic. So here's the deal, guys. It turns out that Dan is still at the shop, although it's getting close to 5 o'clock, so I wasn't sure how late they're going to be there tonight. But I'm headed there now. I'm going to swing by, say hi, introduce myself, just kind of get to know him. I really don't have any agenda for today. It was really just a travel day to get here and get myself settled. So it's a little bonus that I can swing by and just kind of, you know, make some introductions and chat for a little bit. So I'm going to focus on doing that today, just see where the evening takes me, and then I'll probably see you guys tomorrow morning once we start cracking on this project car. Well, good morning. It's now Wednesday morning, and we're headed back to Dan's shop. So I was able to meet up with him last night. We chatted for a little bit in the shop. We went out and grabbed some dinner. Real easy guy to talk to. Enjoyable conversation. And yeah, really looking forward to today. So just got a short little drive to get there. I'll be there in about 10 minutes. I only have today, really, for this week, to kind of work on the car with him. So we do have a rough game plan what we're going to do. I think just because of timing-wise, today's going to be a pretty easy day, a pretty light day. Take a peek at the car, kind of get an idea of what we're going to do, and then tomorrow on Thursday, I go hang out with my buddies that are coming down for F1. I'm going to spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, obviously, with all of them. And then we're going to be back here next week on Monday, and that's where we're really going to dig into this car and get real technical with it. We might do some disassembly on it today just to make things a little easier, but like I said, today is just kind of like a diagnostic preliminary look over type day, just a casual day. So I guess I'll see you guys back in the shop in a couple minutes. And we have arrived. NG Supercars. All right, guys, we're in the shop. We got Dan here. Shop actually is, I was very impressed when I first got here and saw the shop, because it looks great on camera, but coming here in person, very nice, very clean, well organized, especially after your flood.
Dude, that's been a nightmare.
Yep. So, I mean, it's interesting because I've spent my entire career working in shops, so I kind of can get a good eye for a clean shop and not an overly clean shop. And also now I currently work in aerospace, so like 5S and organization is what we live by. And I'm actually pretty impressed. Very clean shop, well organized, well set up. So
I'm so glad you weren't here a month ago.
But yeah, you guys can see it's a jam-packed house. We have our project car over there, that 360. We'll talk about that in a second. They have that beautiful 430 on the rack. Love the blue. We got some 360s, 458, which is in the correct color if you ask me. We also Scuderia, so you can see the difference right here
of Rosa Corsa and Rosa Scuderia. It's much more of an orange color. Pretty rare. Not a lot of cars are in that color. So I always get excited when I see it.
Oh yeah, I love that color.
And we got more 458s, 430s, and they got a Roma, which is I think a bit outside your wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's actually it's funny. It's a client car, and it's going to Costa Rica.
Oh wow! Wow.
So he had us help arrange transportation and everything because yeah, we normally don't really carry Romas.
Yeah.
We don't really carry the new stuff. I would say generally like 488 is kind of the upper range of what we usually like to deal with.
Yeah. And I'm here for this blue and red interior color combination. I'm all for it.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. On camera, it probably comes out black.
Black, yep.
It's
such a dark blue.
Really dark blue.
But I'm here for it. I love it. So, and then we have the oddball makes in the back corner where they belong. They're Spanish. They don't even get lights.
I can turn on the lights.
Yeah, nope, they don't deserve it. Nope, they're not Ferraris.
We're not going to spend the energy bill.
Nope.
There's a Ferrari. There's two Ferraris back there. There's a 458 in the corner and then a former Flood 360.
Well, you need to swap those with the
yeah. Well, those two are going out the door. That's why they're.
So, yep, that's really the status of the shop. We're really just getting started this morning. We're starting on this car, which Dan's talked about it some in his videos, but it was in for a belt service. It's had some issues, or they put belts on it, cam timing marks were off, and Dan made some changes to it, and then it made his problems worse, so the car didn't run. And then they did a compression test, and they were just kind of fighting back and forth on what was going on with the car. And really, the truth of the matter is, Dan and I have been talking for, I want to say, probably like 7 months.
Oh, yeah.
A very long time about trying to work out a collaboration video.
Yeah,
and
it's like, what can we do?
Exactly. And we were trying to...
interesting, but...
Yeah, we were going to do that Testarossa, which needed a major, but he sold it before I had a chance to get down here.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of told him that I'm coming down for F1 this weekend, and I'm going to be here whether he wanted me or not. Is what ended up happening is he ended up having the problems on this car, so we kind of figured that was a great project. So I think our main thing is, I mean, high level, we want to get the car fixed and running right. I think the main thing that we're going to go through is verify that the cam timing's correct, everything's good, and kind of walk Dan and his team through the process to degree in the camshafts on the 360, which I haven't had a chance to show yet on my channel. So that's going to be some good content there. And we're really just starting this morning, just looking over the car. We're about ready to get my Leonardo out, scan it, check for some faults. We just did a cold start. I'll say, I've already talked about it in this video, but most of the technical stuff on this car is going to be on Dan's channel. He's filming that as I'm running.
Never stops, man.
The life of making these videos. So that's really where we're at. I'm going to just keep trucking. I'll probably bring you guys back periodically here and there on the car and just give you some updates of what we're doing, what we're seeing, and how things are going. So we'll see you guys here in a few. All right, guys, so we had a minute to take a peek at this 360, and we actually spent a little bit of time looking at it with Leonardo. There's a couple of numbers that I wanted to look at in reference to our cam timing. It's basically the electronic value of the cam sensors, which is going to tell us where our exhaust camshafts are at. Kind of gives us a pre-idea of where the cam timing's at on the car. So we looked at that, kind of struggled a little bit getting the information I needed from Leonardo. Part of that's just my familiarity with using it on the 360. Obviously, 360 with an immobilizer, that was giving us a fight where we kept losing the immobilizer sync to the NCMs, and then we had the reboot to the Leonardo, and it was kind of like a vicious cycle, cycling back and forth. But we got that all taken care of. We fired the car up to see how it ran. It was, I mean, it was pretty easy to tell immediately. It had a dead misfire, this car. So, let me ask you, does it smooth out at all when it warms up?
No.
No, it's definitely got a misfire. This car is running terrible. You can just smell raw fuel in the shop. Really a dramatic difference. So we kind of paused a little bit on the cam timing on that aspect, and I wanted to look into that a little bit more to see if we get that fixed. Long story short, we ended up finding 2 bad coils on bank 1 and cylinders 2 and 3. Luckily, Dan had some spare coils, so we got those swapped out, and now this car fires up and runs beautifully. Day and night difference, made a dramatic difference in the way the car ran. So really, the cam timing wasn't the cause of the car running poorly. That was, at the end of the day, it was just a misfire with those coils. But I think our plan of attack here is we're still going to run through and do the cam timing on this car, so that way we can make the content and also confirm that it is where it needs to be. With today being Wednesday, then me being gone for Thursday and Friday, I think our plan for the rest of the day today is to actually get into the car, and we need to get the A-frame off, we need to get the airbox off, a lot of lines. So we need to get all of that stuff off to give us access to the valve covers. We need to get the valve covers removed from the engine, so that way we can actually get in and measure our lifter buckets to do our cam timing. So I think our plan for today is we're probably going to go out and grab some lunch, probably a beer, then come back after lunch, start disassembly, and then when I'm done with my weekend with all my buddies and all the events for F1, we're going to come back on Monday, and that's where we're going to dive in, work through the camshaft timing, and make all that technical content for that. Hopefully we should have enough time to get the car put back together, button back up and running before I leave. So, I mean, that's the plan. That's where we're at. We're going to go hit lunch, start disassembly, and I'll bring you guys back here at the end of the day to see where we wound up at. All right, guys, end of day one, and made really great progress, actually much further than we expected to be, because we ended up fixing the rough running on the 360, got that taken care of, but we actually got the A-frame out, the engine torn all the way down to the valve covers, so it's actually at a point where we're ready to jump right into the camshaft timing and degreeing in the camshafts. So we kind of had this planned already to have all that stuff take place next week on Monday. So today we knew it was going to be a casual, easy day. Got further than we thought we were going to get to, because, I mean, we got the car fixed, essentially. We still want to get to the bottom of the camshaft timing, so once we got to the point where the valve cover's off, we just kind of stopped, and we've just been hanging out, shooting the shit since. So that's really where we're at, and the car's just going to chill there for now. Tomorrow's Thursday, and that's where my vacation begins. I'm going to meet up with my friends, and we're going to have a good time. We'll be back on this car on Monday morning. So with that, I don't know when I'll see you back, but I will bring you guys back here, here and there, and there's something good to see.
All right, well, welcome back. We're now here Friday morning, and as you guys saw, had a pretty excellent Thursday. Kicked that day off with a kind of tradition of ourselves, our group, and went and stopped by Franklin's and did the Franklin's experience and just gorged on some delicious barbecue. And then Dan was actually nice enough to come pick me up in the GT40, and we had a little event we did here at the track. I can tell you that that car is probably one of the rawest cars I have ever been in. That was quite the experience. Pretty awesome. Pretty grateful to experience that. And I'll tell you that Dan did not short me one bit on that experience. So that was definitely a memorable night, and had some good time here at the track. Saw some good access on the pit lane. And now, as you guys can see, here we are, just got parked. We're in the parking lot and we're heading in. And since it's a sprint weekend, we have free practice 1 today, which is going to start here soon. And then it's going to be just sprint qualifying. And I can tell you, I was skeptical of the sprint weekends, and I don't really enjoy watching them on TV. But when we come here to the track for the sprint weekends, I actually think it's a lot better because there's a lot more action and kind of more intentful stuff to watch. So it's going to be a good event. Yeah, I'm not sure when I'll see you guys back, but I'm gonna put the camera down, focus on having a good time, and I'll see you guys later.
All right, guys, welcome back. And you can see we're back at the stub in Dan's shop, and pretty outstanding weekend, pretty successful. So it was really busy, actually busier than what our weekends usually are at the track. As you saw, I got plenty of filming of some track action, but there was really, I wasn't planning on doing any face-to-face camera action. I really wanted to be there with my friends, have a good time, and enjoy the experience. So, you know, we last left off with us walking in on Friday morning, went to the track, saw some good practice of the Porsche cars, the free practice one with the F1 cars, and sprint qualifying, which is always great because I can tell you in person, those cars are noticeably faster when they're in qualifying trim. It's always been interesting to me when you watch qualifying and then you watch the first lap of the race, you can actually see the cars on how much they're weighted down and how slow they transition through the corners of the S's on the back of the track. So that means on qualifying day, when the cars are trimmed down and light, they're booking. So that was pretty great. And actually on Friday night, after the day out of the track, Dan invited us over to the Howard for a party, and we had 8 guys in our group. So he actually was kind enough to come pick us up at our house in the coaster bus, which was absolutely a big hit. So we got chauffeured to the party in the JDM right-hand drive coaster bus, which was a big hit amongst the group because we're all car guys, and that thing is very cool. We almost had one guy convinced into buying it, but I don't think he's gonna pull through and do it. But we had a great time, saw a lot of awesome stuff at the party, met a lot of great people, and really just enjoyed ourselves, which I think was great for my group because a lot of those guys haven't really been around and experienced anything like that or seen some of that stuff. So it was really great to give them access to do so. And I even saw a long-time colleague from Ferrari that I haven't seen in probably 8 years. So it was great to connect with him and meet up and get to chat a little bit. And really that had us out pretty late on Friday night. Like I said, out in the sun and the heat and the wind, and then doing that. That makes for some long days out here. And then obviously we went to the track Saturday. We had the sprint race, which was amazing. And we had F1 regular qualifying. We watched the Porsche Cup cars get some action out on the track. Pretty casual evening, I should say. After that, we went and just grabbed some dinner and really wash, rinse, repeat, right? Went out on Sunday, went to the track, watched the race. Half of the group had to leave out on Sunday night, so I had to run half of them to the airport and the other half went back to the house. So the group started to thin out right after Sunday on the race. And then we just kind of hung out, enjoyed our evening, went to some of our favorite places to eat around here. And this morning, has just got one left in the group that's hanging out with us here today, and kind of moseyed our way on out of our Airbnb, and we're back here at Dan's, ready to get cracking back on this 360. Now, we got everything torn down on, what was it, Thursday to Wednesday. We got everything torn down on the 360, but I did not get a chance to show you where we're at. So as we saw, the car when I got here, it already had the seats out of it, and it had all of our access panels out of the back for the engine, so that was already done. But once we got the car running and everything fixed, we went through, or I should say I went through, and pulled out the A-frame of the car, got that out of the way, and then that enables us to have room to get the valve covers off. So you can see we have them off there. That is gonna give us the access that we need to do our checks for our camshaft timing. So if you guys have been around my channel for a little bit, you watch me do that on the 355, and the engine in a 360 and a 355 is essentially the same engine. The numbers and what we're working towards are going to be a little bit different, but the procedure to do the camshaft timing is, I would say, pretty much the same. Like I said, we have different numbers, but it's the same procedure, if that makes sense to you guys. So you can see I'm kind of spending the morning getting all my tooling set up and getting ready. Dan's going to record that for the long form video on his channel. And really, I just need to get in there. We're gonna have to just get started, getting our degree wheel on, getting top dead center established, getting our pointers set up. Then we're gonna have to work with our tooling to measure the lifter buckets for the camshaft degreeing. And you can see, especially since we have a spider, we kind of have a hole down there where we have to work to get our tooling set up all the way at the front of the engine. We're gonna actually have to come in here on the inside of the car and read our gauges from down in here. So it's really going to be a lot of moving from the back of the car to the front of the car, back and forth, back and forth. I was actually talking to Dan earlier about this, and I was telling him that although on a 360, the degree in the camshafts, you don't have to remove the engine from the car, and a 355, you do have to remove the engine from the car. But I honestly prefer doing the timing belt service on a 355, even though you do have to remove the engine or the whole drivetrain, because it's, once that's out of the car, it is, you have all the room in the world, the degree in the camshafts, and I would much rather do that than be sitting in this car at an awkward angle. As you can see, I'll have to be sitting in there, rotating the crank, working my gauges, coming back and checking. So it's not terrible. It's a little bit cumbersome and a little bit awkward, a little bit uncomfortable, but it's manageable. But really, like I said, I'd rather go through arguably more work to remove an entire drivetrain just to sit on a stool in open space and get the stuff degreed. And also the real problem with it in this case is there's virtually no room for me to see the gauges and what I'm doing and get a camera in there. Dan, like I said, Dan will be recording, so I can be focusing on what I'm doing and talking to him through the steps. But I know that I'm pretty positive I have a 360 timing belt service coming in the shop soon for me to do. And I'm thinking ahead of like, how am I going to get a camera in there and record that in the manner that I usually or typically record these things? So that's going to be a challenge when that time comes. But I guess today would be like a good dry run to kind of figure it out. So that's really where we're at. I guess I should kind of mention, or you guys should have assumed that today is Monday morning, or it's actually Monday afternoon because of our late start to get here. So we're going to get working on this today, and then I have today, so I have Monday, Tuesday, and then I fly out Wednesday night. So we have plenty of time to get the cams degreed on this. I think that we'll probably get the dial gauge on, TDC set, all my tooling set up, and then I imagine tomorrow we'll actually start the process of checking the camshaft timing. And once the degree wheel's set up, it's pretty quick to move my dial gauge from the intake cam to the exhaust cam and over across the engine to the other bank to get everything kind of dialed in. Making changes is pretty easy on a 360 because we don't have dowels like we do on the 355. We have adjustable cam gears, which is, I'd say, maybe a more traditional setup. So we have elongated holes on our cam gears with those 4 bolts. So we don't have to play the dowel pin game. We can just loosen up those bolts, make adjustment on the cam gears. So it should be a lot quicker. Yeah, I'm honestly pretty eager to get this on top dead center, see where the assembly marks line up, see where our cam timing is, and just see if this is a good example or not of the fact that you can't trust the assembly marks. Either the cam timing is grossly off on this, and we'll correct it, or the assembly marks are pretty far off, which is a good talking point for the video. So that is where we're at. Like I said, it's been a busy weekend. It's been a busy trip, but we're back here just about get started on this car and make some headway and get her in tip-top shape for Dan and his client. So Dan and I are going to get cracking on this 360, and I'll probably see you guys back here tomorrow morning. I'll give you a quick recap and refresher of how far we ended up making it today. Morning, guys. We're back. It's Tuesday morning, and we're here. We're trucking away, and admittedly, I was a little delayed getting here yesterday, so we had a short day. Yeah. So we didn't make as much progress. I think actually we made good progress.
Given the short time we had, I think we did great.
Yeah, we made pretty good progress, I guess. So I worked to get our degree wheel on the engine yesterday. So you can see we have that all set up. I had to modify my degree wheel because I think I switched them back. I remember that, where I had a different degree wheel, got a new one, so my bolt pattern was actually off. So I was not able to fit the 360. I know it fits 430s in other cars, so that kind of burned a little time while I was messing with that. Dan was busy being the nice guy that he is, and cleaning our valve covers ahead of time while I was messing with that.
Gotta do something. Just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you he's got plenty to do around here. He's pretty busy. So we got that done. We got the degree wheel on, and I actually went to run through the procedure to find top dead center and basically calibrate our pointers to the degree wheel. Yep. And Murphy's Law, as I want to use that as an example to show you how to do it, it just fell right in place.
Yeah, a miracle of, right? The one time you don't want to actually do it.
Yeah. If I would have put the camera away, it would have been a 4-hour event. But since the camera's out, it made me look like an idiot by saying it's a difficult process.
And then it wasn't.
And then it turned out not appearing so. But we got that taken care of. We were able to check the cam timing on the intake camshaft of bank 1. We ended up, it was about 2 degrees off. So I made an adjustment, overshot it by ½ degree. So I essentially moved the camshaft 2.5 degrees, but that put us within our ½ degree window. Or actually the tolerance is plus or minus 1 degree. So we're ½ degree within spec. I kind of hem and hawed if I wanted to chase after it. I decided no, we're going to leave it at the half a degree off and move on to the other camshafts. So today's agenda is to get the exhaust cam on bank 1 degreed in, get that taken care of, and then switch over to our bank 2, which we're not on top dead center. But if you look at the assembly marks on the back of the camshafts, there is a dramatic difference on our intake camshaft on bank 2. So
that's where this whole thing went awry.
Yeah, that's how we kind of got to this point. And when Dan reached out to me when he found that and why we are doing this project, why I'm here, we have a couple more camshafts to check before we get over there and find out what's going on.
I am so curious to see what's up with that.
See how far off it is?
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. That whole side of the engine just has been it kept me up at night. Like I would run over and over in my head, like, did I screw it up or did like someone else screw it up? I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to feel so good when we have solid data to prove, hopefully, that I didn't screw things up.
Yeah. So he did when he did the belt service, he saw that it was off on the cam timing mark, and he moved the belt one tooth. And after he did that, the car would not start. And then he had a discrepancy in his compression from bank to bank also.
Huge.
So what I'm curious is if it ends up going back to where you had it, like if we have to make a big change, which change do we make in relation to the change you made?
Yeah.
Like, were you headed down the right path, or that's what I'm curious to kind of find out. Because what we're going to find here is going to give us more of the backstory to what you were doing and the effect it had on the car.
Yeah. It's going to be, I mean, theoretically, based on the marks, it's a tooth off.
Yes.
So the question is, does the cam need to go about that far, or does it not even need to go? I don't know, because the compression went from like 185 PSI on average to like 230, 235. And so it was just snuffing it out, right? It wouldn't even fire. And it just, so we put it back to where it was, and then it runs. It's like, oh, okay, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, but we did have 3 bad coils.
Yeah, that didn't help.
Yep, that didn't help. But the cranking compression tells us something's not right. So definitely we need to continue on the path that we've chosen to figure out what is going on and why. And hopefully today, honestly, I would like to have the cam timing taken care of. I'd like to have that resolved. I would honestly like to have the valve covers back on the car and really the car back together. I want to do so because I'm here, and if there's any issues with the car, I want to have it running so that way if there is issues, we can continue to diagnose it and chase after it. But also, tomorrow is my last day here, and I'd rather have this project buttoned up and wrapped up so that way tomorrow Dan and I can
not have to worry.
Yeah, not have to worry about this car, and we can film what other kind of videos we want to film and not be just so focused on this project here. That's really our plan for today. I think in order for us to hit our goal, we need to just get working.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll see you guys here in a minute. All right, progress update. Bank 1, done. We got it.
Both within about a half a degree?
About a half degree off. Took a little bit more thinking and talking for us on what we wanted to do on the exhaust cam, on which way we wanted to move it, because the procedure to measure your cam timing is different from the intake to the exhaust. And just based on the way the procedure is, it requires a little bit more forethought on the exhaust side to understand not only which direction you need to move the camshaft, but how you're going to measure how much you need to move it, which I was talking to Dan, it's a 360 specific problem, because if we're working on a car that has the dowel pins, which is virtually every other car with timing belts, it's binary. You just know that you need to advance or retard the cam, and you just move it one increment into that dowel pin and then recheck your timing. And there's a little bit more fidelity we can do with moving some things around, but it's pretty simple. But here we have eccentric bolts and slots, so you have to figure out, okay, if I'm targeting a 2-degree change, how can I precisely do so? And I'm also trying to do so in a way that it'd be easy for someone to watch the video and repeat at home by themselves. So that's an extra element. So
yeah, if you had 2 people doing it, it'd be pretty simple. Or simpler, maybe.
Simpler, potentially, but I just don't think that's realistic to kind of show in a format of a video. So we still have our tooling stuck in there, so we're going to probably just set the cameras down. I'm going to focus on getting all my tooling set up over on bank 2, and we're going to need to verify our top dead center again to our degree wheel with our second pointer. I need to wrestle my gauge on, and we decided we're going to start with the exhaust cam, which was kind of Dan's call, which I fully support. So he did bring up...
Still in our brains.
So he brought up a great point. It's still fresh in our brains on the procedure to check the exhaust cam. So we'll just jump over and do that. But we all know that we're here to check the intake cam on bank 2.
That's the one that's like, what in the world?
Yeah, exactly. So we will get that knocked out real quick. I mean, we're trending pretty good. I think we're...
There is a 90% chance this sucker will run today.
Yeah, I think I don't know what time it is. We're like an hour and a half into this maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing good. But reassembly does take a little bit more time to work through that. Making good progress. I want to see it run today.
Yeah. I want to see it run better than it's ever run in its life.
Yes.
Which will probably happen.
I hope.
I hope.
I hope.
Probably. I said probably. I didn't say guaranteed.
I'm reserved until we find out what's going on with that intake camshaft. So we're going to keep cracking on this, and we'll see you guys back in a few. All right, guys, moment of truth. We finally got to the point. See?
Damn it.
We finally got to the point where we're on the intake cam at bank 2. I'm just working to get our dial indicator set up, so I have to go through the fight one last time, get our tooling on there, and we're going to find out if the cam timing's wildly out. But based on the compression results and how it ran after we fixed the coils, I think the cam timing might be in.
I think it's going to be off 3 degrees.
3 degrees. So we're almost there. It's about 1 o'clock, so I think we're making good progress. One more cam timing check, make those changes, and then it's time to get this car reassembled and back together. And like I said, my goal today is to have it running. Yes. It's the goal. Might keep Dan here late tonight.
I'm fine.
So we're going to get to it, and we'll bring you guys back here when we finally get to the conclusion of the mystery of the camshaft. So see you guys in a minute. All right, mystery solved, questions answered.
I'm not a dumbass.
More questions created.
Sort of.
Or not at all. No, not at all. So we just finished our 4th camshaft, which is our intake camshaft, and it ended up being 2.5 degrees out total, I think.
Yeah.
Retarded, so we advanced it, got our all the cams are essentially 1/2 degree within factory spec. Our range is plus or minus 1 degree, so we're
well
set.
Within.
Yeah, and actually all the cams weren't that radically out. I would say we just kind of did a little tidy up on the cam timing.
Yeah. I think the worst was 2.5.
Yeah, so they're all pretty consistent. All the changes were the same, which is good, because if you have something radically off or you're making a huge change, you should probably stop and question what you're doing to make sure you're understanding what you're doing, or if there's actually a problem with the car.
However,
your
timing marks.
Your timing marks. So
they are grossly off on the intake cam.
Yep.
On the left bank.
Yep. So the marks are pretty radically, I'd say significantly far off. We rotated the engine over to where it's at now. I'll show you in a second. The intake on bank 2, it's a ways off. I had Dan watch the cam as I rotated the engine over so we could see how far it off. And so he told me when the mark lined up at the cam and the cam cap, and I stopped at the degree wheel and I measured the degree, and we had 24 degrees that mark is off on the camshaft in relation to the marks on the other 3 camshafts.
Yeah.
So that totally made sense because, like I said, I can't remember on a 360 if the spacing between the teeth on the timing gear is 22.5 or 24 degrees. I'd have to refresh myself. It makes sense that it's 24 degrees because my speculation is when those marks are hand engraved, and when they hand engraved them on there, they had the timing belt 1 tooth off on the cam gear, engraved the mark, and then maybe went through and saw it and fixed it. And that's why we have that 24 degree. And that's also why it kind of sent him down the wrong path of making the adjustment for it. Then his compression skyrocketed and the car wouldn't start.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll drop you guys in and try to get you in there. Grab
it's hard to see.
a light. Yep. And can't get you in there very well, but you guys should be able to see that little hand engraving mark right on the back of the camshaft and that little notch on the cam cap. And that's what we want lined up. And you can see that both of these line up pretty well. I might have to steal some footage of Dan's to show you guys because he has a far superior camera for this. But what really matters is you can see on this intake camshaft right there that mark is significantly out. Our exhaust camshaft pretty much lines up. Actually,
it's a little off.
It's a little off, yeah. It's a little bit biased to the other side, but really we have this big discrepancy right there. You can see that's a pretty glaring difference, which is exciting for me.
It proves my point.
It proves a point that I've talked about in several videos, and none of those cars actually had that much of a discrepancy. So it's validating for me because I talk about it and I feel like then I have a car that doesn't show what I'm talking about, and it makes me feel like I'm just making stuff up. So this one's a little bit, I know it validates Dan for doing the work he did.
Yeah.
And it's validating to the point that I always say that those are assembly marks, not cam timing marks.
Don't use those only.
Exactly. Those are a rough start. So we got that set, and we had a few we kind of got delayed earlier today because they were working on that 458, getting it on the go jacks, and they had the solenoid on the pump. They had to replace their pump because of the flood.
He just got that pump in, they hooked it up, and the solenoid stuck open, so they were bleeding down. One jack had the locks engaged, the other one didn't. Dan and I were trying to eat our lunch, and we had to stop. And then it became a bit of a fiasco of figuring out how we could A, get the car in a safe position, B, get the go jacks out, and we got that figured out, and then we got the car on race ramps. But now we can't get the car off the race ramps because the go jacks that we have now fixed don't go high enough.
Oh, God, I just thought of how we could fix it. We could use the tall blocks.
There you go. Problem solved.
Oh, my God. I mean, okay.
Problem
I'm glad
solved.
you talked about it.
This is what we're saying. Our lunch was longer than planned.
Yeah.
And probably a bit more stressful than planned.
I mean, that was entertainment during lunch.
Yeah, the car had a pretty good lean. It was pretty sketchy. And then obviously we had to crawl around underneath of it to try to get it fixed, which that wasn't,
I did not like that.
Either did I. And I was a big advocate of getting it on the race ramps because then it was at least safe. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we'll figure out how to get it
stable.
Yeah, we'll figure out how to get it off, but at least it's stable because, yeah, it was pretty sketchy. If any of you guys have racked a Ferrari and tried to get one racked, or you tried to lift one of the floor jack, you'll understand the nightmare that it can be because the car still had all the under trays on it. So your lift point access is taken up by
like 4 lift points, 1 in each corner.
that are taken up by quick jacks that aren't working.
Yeah.
And then we have to try to get the car up. So anyways, it was a bit of a fiasco, but we've recovered. Everything's good. And we need to turn our attention to finishing this up.
It's time to kick some ass.
Yeah.
And take names, and I'm all out of, or is it, I need to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum?
Yeah. It's like 3:30, and we want to hear this thing run today. And we have a ways to go.
Yeah.
So,
Calling the wife. It's going to be a late night.
yep. We're going to get this thing rammed back together. We still need to go through and retorque all of our cam gear bolts, all of our cam caps, start working to get the valve covers on. And I think once the valve covers are on, and it's just the A-frame, it's smooth sailing from there.
Yep.
So,
Sweet.
I will, I think I'm going to focus on getting this back together, and we'll bring you guys back at the end of the day and see where we wound up.
Sweet.
Well, it's been a long one today, guys. It is 7:30, and Dan and I just finished getting everything buttoned back up. And we already have fired the car up, and it runs absolutely excellent compared to when we came in. I'll jump back in and fire it back up for you guys. And grab the key. And I always do my immobilizer once the ignition's on because I hate the beeps. Absolutely. So, yeah. Big difference. All right, guys, so you can tell that that made a radical difference when we first got here, first fired it up. You know, as it turned out, all the cams weren't radically out, but we were able to dial it in and get it much better than it's probably been in a long time. Got those coils taken care of, and there's only just a little bit of assembly left to do, but I'm absolutely positive we're just going to save that for tomorrow. So with that, I think I'm going to finish up my night here, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning, which will be our last day here at the stub. Not sure what we have planned. Something. Yep, we'll figure something out. So, yeah, until then, see you tomorrow morning. Welcome back. It is now Wednesday morning, and last night got the 360 running, and then we hit our goal of getting that all buttoned up and back together. Although it was a late night, so we're back here early, and really today is kind of a clear slate for us. We don't have anything dead set to do. We have a couple loose ideas. We kind of got it here this morning. You can see Dan's working on his old 458. We started poking around on a few of the cars with my Leonardo. We actually started off with this Roma, and fortunately I have the Roma software on my Leonardo, so I was able to reset the service indicator on this car. They just did an oil change on it. I guess, and I was asking Dan, the car is still covered under the genuine maintenance program, but I guess the client just wanted them to do the oil change, so they were able to get that taken care of. And they were not able to reset the light, so fortunately I was able to take care of that for them. And then we jumped over on his 458 and just wanted to dig in to see what was going on with the check engine light.
And what we found is I had faults for the secondary air valves, or I should say it had faults for secondary air. And then I also saw that there's faults for our pneumatic flaps inside the center of the intake manifold plenums. So that's a pretty strong indication that we have a supply issue within our vacuum system. And that's essentially rendering all of the vacuum actuated items not working. Dan noticed when he got the car dropped off that the exhaust valves were also not working, which are one of the other components ran off vacuum. So he's currently working to get the fender liner removed from the car, and we're going to get a smoke tester on there, and we're just getting to the vacuum reservoir. I kind of figure that's the easiest place to tie into, run a smoke test on the car, and we're just going to be looking for a ruptured line or a broken line, or hopefully something simple and relatively easy, and get that sorted out and squared away.
And a busted tire.
And a busted tire. Had a nail in the tire, so he's going to need a new tire there.
Poor thing.
So
Needs love.
So we're just kind of, like I said, we're just kind of cruising around, hitting some odds and ends. I think we might try to sit down and kind of do like an interview-esque type video later today. And I think I probably need to be out of here probably around 5 today. I think that's my threshold to get headed back to the airport. So yeah, we're just kind of going with the flow, see where it takes us today. Well, things changed really fast this morning. We were starting off, we did a little work on the Roma, resetting the light, and then we were kind of just piddling around on Dan's old 458 when it turns out another client of his is interested in the Rosso Scuderia 458 pending a pre-purchase inspection, and the client wanted a third-party pre-purchase inspection. Dan doesn't have any interest in sending the car off site, and I am already here. So the way things all just kind of worked out, he put me in touch with the client that's looking at buying the car. I was speaking with him, and he decided to have me perform the PPI on this car before I fly out tonight. So it looks like this is going to be the rest of my day. I will just dive in on this car, and I'm kind of limited on time from when I have to leave to go catch my flight, so I don't know how much more recording I'm going to do, because it's kind of in a situation where I need to be sure that I can give this customer a quality and thorough PPI on the car and get everything documented, recorded, and do what I need to get done. So I'm really going to just get my head down, focus on getting that taken care of. Hopefully I'll have some time at the tail end to kind of bring you guys back and recap. So far the car looks really clean. I don't really expect to find a whole lot on it, but you never know, and it's always a good thing to do the PPI. So that's really, I got to get to work now. I did not come down here expecting to work, but here we are, and I'm gonna get cracking. We'll recap what we find on this 458, and I hopefully will have a little extra time where I can actually kind of run you guys through it. We can talk about a few key things in the car. But like I said, my primary focus is on getting this PPI done and getting all that information documented so I can get it over to the client, so that way he knows if it's going to be a good car to buy or not.
Nick has to go bye-bye.
I can film you filming.
It's filmception. Nick has to go bye-bye in like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something. So
yeah,
we're doing a wrap-up. I will film you filming me filming you.
It's just getting weird at this point.
It is. All right, you go first. You go first. I'll put the camera to the side. We look like such nerds.
Absolutely.
Nerds!
So, all right.
I'll put it down.
You guys have gathered that we're at the end of the day.
and we're nerds.
And we're nerds. And it's time for me to start heading off. So I guess I'll kind of recap, because today we was coming in here with an unknown.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, we kind of spent the morning a little bit on the Roma, got the service light reset. We were messing with his old 458, which we had to stop on the 458 Diag, because as it turns out, we ended up doing this PPI, or at least I ended up doing this PPI on this 458.
I made you money.
He made me money-wise here. He saw, oh, Nick's here on vacation. There's a PPI over there. Get to work. So, no, he actually just put me in contact with the client that was looking at the car, and I just did that deal through my end, so Dan was removed from the process, which is the right way to go about it.
I literally don't know what the results of the PPI
exactly.
are.
Well, that's what I'll be doing on the flight home, is writing that up. So I pretty much ran that till, I'd say, essentially the end of the day, and we've just kind of been hanging around.
Oh, and you fixed Josh's car, too.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Josh finally showed back up from his...
the other half of us.
He finally showed up from his vacation. He had an error on his car for the system not programmed. It's a little triangle at the bottom of the dash. I kind of had a hunch of what it was.
Our scan tool couldn't do it.
Yep, which is common. That's one of the rare times where that Leonardo can flex its muscle and do what it does.
And
I don't know if it's quite worth spending the money for us anyway. For him, he needs it, but for us, it's like,
it was a tough pill to swallow, but I had to do it. But what I did is the car had a few miscellaneous faults, but I didn't want to chase after them, and I wanted to try a proxy alignment, which the proxy is basically a file that's stored in the NBC or body computer, which tells the entire car, this is the configuration, this is what it should be. So I just basically pulled the proxy from the NBC, rebroadcast that through all the modules, and the problem was the module he replaced did not have the proxy in it. So we put that proper car's proxy in the module, and we're set. So he got that fixed, and he didn't have to pay for the tester to fix it. Big win.
I didn't have to take it to the dealer. That's what I was worried about. It's like my last
It's always the goal.
Do not have to take it to Ferrari. I'm like, no.
No, as it turns out, couldn't decide if I wanted to bring the tester or not, or the Leonardo.
Yeah.
I'm like, do I want to bring it? Do I not? Like, I didn't really want to travel with it. I was not too hot on it, but it turns out it worked out great for me because I needed it for the PPI. Yeah. So it really ended up paying off for itself. So
good.
That's really where we're at. And yeah, I'm going to hit my flight back home, and I'll see you guys back probably in my shop tomorrow afternoon. I think we'll sit down and recap this trip.
Sweet.
So see you, Dan.
High five.
High five.
More nerding.
Plenty of nerd. Truth be told, it's actually a week later. So I got home a week ago today. I haven't even had a chance to come out in the shop and film and recap the trip because if you guys notice, the shop looks radically different. And that is because I spent all week taking my red 52 Chevy truck out of the shop, and I needed to rearrange some cars, put my truck in storage, and make some more room for our next project, which is right here. This awesome 355 that just came in. It's in for a major service, so we're going to have a lot of great content on this car. You guys can see that it's a pretty unique looking 355, so pretty cool car to talk about. And believe it or not, this client shipped this car to me all the way from Houston, Texas, up here to Seattle for this timing belt service. So I've really been busy all week getting everything rearranged in the shop. It was very disruptive with everything going on. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to come back and recap our video and get this out, but nonetheless, here we are getting it all done. That was a wildly successful trip. I had an absolute blast. It was great to reconnect with my friends. Great to go watch some good action at F1. I had a fantastic time meeting Dan, working through that problem 360. Picked up a little bit of side work when I was down there, and really, all in all, the trip was fantastic. I have nothing negative to say about it. Dan was a great host. He was, fantastic to work with. We got along really well. The one thing I didn't expect that was so great about it is Dan and I's businesses are very similar, but yet very different. He's obviously catered very much more so to the sales side. I'm obviously very service oriented, but it was really great to compare notes, talk about how we do things, what we do, and really just the behind the scenes of it, like business owner to business owner. That right there was so valuable. Not to mention we could share things what we're doing with YouTube channels and kind of the behind the scenes stuff. So it was absolutely a great time. Like I mentioned, he was easy to work with. I'm super happy that we got that his client's 360 taken care of. I just had those bad coils, but really it did run quite a bit better after we got the cam timing taken care of. I helped facilitate that PPI for that car that he was trying to sell for that client, so he put that client in touch with me. I did that PPI for him, gave the client the results. I was talking back and forth with the client for a while. Last I heard, I think the client was following through with the purchase of that car, which he should, because it was an absolutely fantastic car. And, when Dan and I first got there, we were talking where we were kind of trying to explore some different ideas or avenues of how we could kind of continue working with each other to kind of help each other out. And we really were struggling figuring out what worked best for both of our businesses. And when that PPI opportunity came up, it just seemed like a no-brainer to us because he doesn't send his cars out for PPIs because he doesn't have control of the car. And when he has other shops working on them, the cars just don't come back the same way, which rightfully so. I don't blame him for that. I'm a big believer if someone's purchasing a Ferrari, if it's your first one or your fifth one, you should be getting a PPI because these cars, it can go sideways so quick depending on pending repairs or really bad repairs done to the car. And it is just a great peace of mind. It is a small investment compared to the price of the car. I do think PPI should be done by a third-party individual. It should not be done by the person selling the car. Dan also agrees. So it worked out really great that I was down there and I was able to take care of that PPI for him because he just put that client in touch with me. That client communicated with me, paid me for the PPI. I did the inspection, gave the client the results of it. I didn't even share any of that with Dan. And I think that's a great kind of, an opportunity for Dan and I to continue to work together moving forward, because I do offer a service where I fly out and do PPIs for people, much like Dan does himself. So really, now that we kind of got that worked out, if Dan's going to sell a car and there's a client that needs a PPI, he can just put that client in touch with me. I can jump on a plane, head down to Dan's shop, get that PPI knocked out, get the client taken care of and how they need to get the information they need for that car so they know if they should make that purchase or not. And I'm sure that's going to give me the opportunity to probably be down in Dan's shop more frequently and make some more videos and do more collaborations. Honestly, it was really quite an enjoyable time. I had quite a bit of fun there. We got along well on and off camera, so it was easy. I think that's the thing. It was very easy to work with him, to interact with him, to get done what we needed to get done. It wasn't difficult at all. Very great experience, nothing but positive things to say. And I will say that I'm very thankful for it, because I'm sure you guys are aware that his channel is much, much larger than mine. So I really appreciate his willingness to kind of bring me in on all of that success that he's been working on for many more years than I have, and kind of give me a piece of that pie, so to speak, that put me in front of his audience and help my channel grow. So that's something I don't lose sight of. I'm very appreciative of. And well, hopefully I'll be down there doing some more stuff in the future. So be sure to head over to Dan's channel, Normal Guy Supercar, and check out our videos on that 360. In the end, he ended up taking that video and divided it into 3 sections. So there's actually going to be 3 videos covering the work that we did on that car. So we have the first video, which is going to be the initial diagnosis. And there's going to be the 2 more videos on the tail end of that cover all the camshaft timing and the completion of the repairs on the car. So definitely head over to his channel, check out those videos. If you're not subscribed to his channel, definitely subscribe. You guys know the drill. Like, share, comment on those videos. And same thing here. If you're not subscribed to my channel, stick around. There's going to be a lot of great Ferrari DIY content here. And you know the drill. Like this video, give it a comment, hit that hype button, subscribe to the channel. You guys know all the drill here on YouTube. I just want to thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're going to see you guys here on the next one.